if you believe that even if the Republicans do not get a majority to get Nancy clear out of there and put another speaker in there, am I right that we can still have enough people that can shut Miss Pelosi down, Mrs. Pelosi, whatever?
Right. Thank you for your comments. And it is a shame how my opponent has decided to lie and distort. And I think that shows he's desperate. I think that shows he has nothing else to talk about. He's trying to get the attention off himself and his bad voting record with Nancy Pelosi. He doesn't want to talk about jobs or his vote for the stimulus packages and the bailouts and the budget and the cap and trade and all of those onerous things. So he's just trying to distort, and it is a shame. But I am hopeful. First of all, I believe we have a very good opportunity to take the majority and to get rid of Nancy Pelosi. I really do. And we have an opportunity here in the 4th District to be part of the solution. It's pretty exciting. But even if we're not able to, I think you're exactly right. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lot of Democrats that are running from Nancy right now and say, no, I don't support her. And they've signed a repeal petitions to try to bring out the health care and repeal it. And of course, Ike hasn't signed that discharge petition, which I think is sad. He voted against it. Comes home and says, well, I voted against it. Well, why don't you sign the repeal petition then and really get rid of it if that's what you think you should do? But anyway, I'm hopeful. And the thing that gives me the most hope is the American people. Because you are the force, we are the force behind what goes on in Washington. And if enough people stand up and say, no, we've got to turn this country around and keep the heat on, then I think that ultimately will prevail. We still are a country of we the people. So let's exercise our voices and do what we can to turn things around.
And Vicki, I would like to say that I did not mean that I don't feel like in all my heart that you are going to win the 4th District, okay? I'm talking about, I'm worried about some of those other Congress races that are going on.
And we don't have any control over that through prayer.
We do not, and I just want to know if I'm thinking right, that there are plenty of Democrats that are also, like you say, I mean, they don't go along with Pelosi, and they're not all for her.
I think so.
Mr. Cowan, is there any statement you'd like to make?
I don't think so. This slander, the negative advertising, slander, as you know by definition, is you make a remark that affects my ability to make an income. Okay, we're running for office, so slander is sort of out the window on that, and he toes the line. He pushes the envelope on the truth. Okay, it's not true. I know it's not true, and you know it's not true.
I'm just saying that it is slander. I realize it's not like in politics. You don't sue each other for these bad remarks and false remarks.
It's just pushing the envelope, and he's trying to get attention. I've always said that a 3-legged dog named Lucky could have ran and beat Ike Skelton this year. Okay. Could have. Yeah. Now, as far as removing Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, the Republicans are going to win. Even if I win this seat, the Republicans are still going to win a majority of the seats. And I hope that I do win this seat. I hope that we send a message and a messenger to Washington. But the Speaker of the House can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a member of Congress to be the Speaker of the House.
There's no doubt in my mind that we're not going to win a majority in Washington. And the question that I've got is, will we read the bill before you vote on it? And number 2, what do you think about the fact that we have got so many areas in this country that are denying, excuse me, we're denying the people that are overseas that protect our freedoms and denying them the right to vote because they don't get off their desks and get the ballots to them.
Yeah, that is criminal. That is criminal. Right. I'm hearing more and more stories like that, and if I'm on the Armed Services Committee, that's something we're going to look at and address. because that is unacceptable, unacceptable. And yes, so your first part of your question.
Are you going to read the bill?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I can just tell you, I'm a very thorough person. In my 6 years, I was in the House, and Ronnie can attest to that. Ronnie left, it was great. But anyway, I read almost every bill. I mean, I would stay up to 1 o'clock if I have to. The problem in Washington, I certainly intend to read everything, is that they've been having these bills that are 2,000 pages, long. And I was glad to see the Republicans pledge to America that one thing that as a caucus they are proposing, and I would support, is to do away with those giant bills, first of all. And then when a bill is put forth, make sure there's at least 3 days before you vote on it, at least. So not only do the representatives have time to read the bill, but more importantly, you and I mean American people, have a chance to know what's in the bill and be able to give input. So that's what I'm going to work for, smaller bills, plenty of time for everybody to read it, and make sure I will not vote on something unless I have read it and or thoroughly understand it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, have you read how many pages of rules and regulations there are on this thing when it was finally concluded?
Oh, the health care bill, they're still writing it, but it's great.
I can't out for the truth. But they say there's over 33,000 pages of regulations on this health care bill alone.
It's ridiculous, and that's part of the problem with small businesses and jobs right now that I was talking about with government being so onerous. I talked to some small business owners, and they tell me, that the size of the regulations that govern whatever their type of business are, they think are probably about this big. And they say, well, if you're a big company, you can hire somebody, a compliance officer, and that's all they do, is read all the government regulations and make sure that the company is in compliance. And I've had business owners that's just a mom and pop and maybe their kids and a couple people, and they say, we can't do that. We can't afford to hire somebody yet. We have to abide by the same regulations. And then they get in trouble. They accidentally don't do something right or follow across every T, and then the government comes in and fines them and about puts them out of position. So we're out of business. So we've got to change that, the way it's done.